A balance sheet is meant to tell you if you are creating wealth or if you are destroying value. You can grow a business and make higher sales and destroy value in the process.
But everybody says, I'm going to give you money to start a business. This is not the conversation we should be having. You should start a business, raise money to grow a business. And so your passport to calling yourself an entrepreneur is when you've proven the business is fundable for growth. This is important because, as you know, not every business is scalable. You know, like if I'll give you an example. My wife's a chef. She's an amazing chef.
Congratulations.
This dude, right. But
You look amazing.
You know, but I am, you know, my wife's an artist. She's not trying to build a wimpy. She's an artist. So for her, every single plate, I'll watch her just obsess over where to place the bloody lettuce. And I'm like, but comrade, it's just lettuce. You know, like just put it on the plate, man. The person's going to eat it anyway, right? But for her, it's an art. That's not scalable. It's just not scalable. You can't Gordon Ramsay that. The minute you scale something, you're going to lose a bit of the art and the artistic ability and the nuance, as you know. The creative aspect goes out the window because you now need to run this thing like a sausage factory. This is the difference between, 5-star Michelin star restaurant and McDonald's, you know. But they offer different things. So I think many entrepreneurs just need to try and understand, what are you offering? And it goes back to that conversation about what's the problem that you're solving.
Hi, Jasper, Basson here. I just wanted to remind you about the Daily Entrepreneur Tips series. It's a business growth series for entrepreneurs and contains financial information and also information to grow you as a person and your business, because we will never grow our business any higher than we grow ourselves. So click on the link below and I will send you daily information to grow you as a person and your business, and it's for 365 days of the year.
Some years ago, if you've never read, there is a fascinating book. I read this book many years ago, changed my life, called Barbarians at the Gate. The book tells a story about a company called RJR Nabisco. The company RJR Nabisco created a tiny little biscuit, and the idea behind the biscuit was a wafer of chocolate with cream in the middle, and they wanted to find a way to express it. And the child of RJR Nabisco used to say the word Oreo a lot. And the biscuit became Oreo. Follow me, comrades. I am leading the revolution here, comrades. I'm leading the revolution. So anyway, so this happens, and this company grows to become a massive mammoth business, and a couple of people lined up like barbarians at a gate seeking to take over, and they bought that company for cents on the dollar. Then it was called a hostile takeover. Today, it's what we call the alternative asset class or private equity. The company was listed, so important. It was listed. They bought the shares and delisted it. So the equity wasn't public, it was private. Private equity. Bazalwan. You follow? So this, if you buy a share today at ShopRite, you're playing in the public equity space. Which means private equity is what? It's that which is not listed. But you see, the great thing is, if I buy a share at ShopRite and I'm having dinner with a friend of mine I'm having lunch with a friend of mine at a Wimpy, I wouldn't, but let's imagine I am. I'm not the LSM. No, I'm below. I'm below. I'm below. So I gotta tell you guys something. So after these masterclasses, we send everybody a link to rate them. And one of the things people say is yo, Vusi says bars, eh? Yeah, bars. No, I mean, it's just my sense of humor. Please don't take any umbrage. Anyway, so if that were the case, right? So I'm sitting with a friend of mine at lunch over at Wimpy, and I'm having the Wimpy Degwood, which I love. I can't eat it now because I'm on diet, but oh man, that Wimpy Degwood is so good it has human rights. That Wimpy Degwood is the truth. And I mean old school Wimpy Deadwood, not the new school Wimpy Deadwood. I'm talking when Wimpy used to make Deadwoods with real bread, that Wimpy Deadwood. So anyway, and this friend of mine says, he says, dude, check this out. You know you've got some shares at Steinhoff? I go, yeah. He says, there's an accounting scandal. A friend of mine who works at company X told me about it. If I was you, I'd sell my shares. So the following morning, I call my stockbroker, or I'll call my banker, and I go, do we have any Steinhoff shares in our portfolio? He says, yes, I sell them. Yeah? And I sell the shares. He can, it's an OTC. He goes to the market, he says, Vusi selling his shares selling at $100. Somebody on the other side says, I'm willing to pay $100. They pay me, I get my $100, they take the shares. 2 weeks later, the story breaks, goes from $100 to zero. Yeah? That's the thing about the public equity class. But private equity is different. What's the first thing about private equity that jumps to your mind? Yeah, it's exclusive, it's locked. Yeah? So if you buy shares in his business, what's your name, sir? Who are you? I mean, Sihle Limited. So I buy 40% of Sihle's business. I give him a million rand of my money for 40% of his business. Yeah? Then you, sir, what's your name? Onga Ama comes to me and he says, hey, Chief, you know Sihle's running this business badly. And we just got sued by one of our suppliers. They're taking us to the cleaners. If I was you, I'd sell my shares. How do I answer him? Where? Like, where am I going to sell these shares? Because there's no OTC system. Make sense? To buy shares in his business, he would have issued me with a share certificate, but before that, I did a valuation, there was a due diligence, then we issued contracts, he sent me back contracts, guys. Like, I look at the companies we're invested in, just the contracting stage alone is a nightmare. And so I was saying to the team, I was like, can we not find a standard template for every single transaction we do, where we can introduce a few variables, but so we can educate the entrepreneurs we're teaching about a standard term of contract. So the guy doesn't need a professional lawyer, he has to pay 100,000 Rand to raise 100,000 Rand. Like, his system is broken, right? So, I can't sell his shares. Because I can't sell his shares, I am locked in. And so because I'm locked in, there is something called a premium that my shares have to generate. That's why a lot of small entrepreneurs don't raise money. It's because if I know the information and I can sell the share immediately, it means where there's a risk, I can liquidate the risk. If I'm locked into your business and I can't, it means the return has to pay me for the risk of the fact that I can't get out. You have to generate results better than I can get in the public stock market. So, the way the asset manager evaluates your business, asset manager, VC firm, evaluates your business when you're raising money is he uses exactly the same model, typically, we would use for a listed asset class. So you went and bought a property that was listed at R1 million, say, for a period of 20 years, say, at an interest rate of 10%, say, which means your effective bond is 1.1 million. So your effective bond payment is here. But over 20 years, you pay in equal percentages relative to the interest rates attached to that bond, a monthly premium, which means the reduction of your interest rate should be, all else equal, assuming the interest rate stays the same, a straight line, like so. However, you and I know this, what do properties do if there's a demand for them? They what? They go up. So right now, you bought a property at R1 million. I would presuppose your property is underwater because you bought it at the retail price and then added an interest rate charge. So you have to wait for the rate of your property value to grow beyond this level. That's what you have to do. But in that meantime, you must keep paying back your monthly payments. I get it. So here's what's going to happen sooner or later. The property value is going to increase because you bought here. But the property value should do something like that. Assuming demand exceeds supply, right? When this point here hits is when you go to the bank. You say, you know, we bought this thing at R1 million. Your exposure as the bank, because you gave us 10% as the interest charge, is 1.1 million. But the value of the property in the market right now is 1.1 million. at this point. Yeah? Then you say, well, your cover ratio is 0. You're taking no further. If you sold today, you'd get your money back. Yeah? Give us more money. The bank's going to tell you, just wait a bit more. And they're probably going to wait until you get to somewhere here. And they'll say, well, the property is now worth 1.4 million. We are happy to extend you an additional 300,000 in credit. That's when you say, thank you. I will take your 300,000 Rand bank and I will use it as a deposit on my next property for 1.1 million. But if I'm putting in a deposit of a property of 1.1 million, what's my net exposure? 800,000. And you're going to follow the same cycle. That's why I said to you, wear the same t-shirt, drive the same car. From a flow of an income statement, an income statement is basically meant to tell you if your business is profitable or not. A balance sheet is meant to tell you if you are creating wealth or if you are destroying value. You can grow a business and make higher sales and destroy value in the process. Yeah? Especially if you get your working capital wrong. Right. So, top line. And you'll hear accountants call it top line. The reason it's called the top line is because in an income statement, it is at the top of all of the lines. Top line. Get it lower. Right. First item on an income statement, what is it?
Revenue.
Right. What is the difference between revenue and turnover? Say again? What? Say again? Thank you. You know why it's important to say same thing? Because a lot of you here will hear, what's your revenue, what's your sales, what's your turnover, and you start wondering if I'm even in the right place. Revenue, sales, turnover. Do you know why they're different, by the way? You don't know. When you get an accountant called Thembekwayo Incorporated, he'll charge you for sales. When you migrate to a small accounting firm, they start telling you about turnover. When you are audited by Ernst & Young, now they talk revenue. All it is just so they can charge you more for doing the same work. But they are the same things. And revenue is nothing more than the price of a product times the number of products you sell. Quantity. That's it. I have this pen. I charge 1 Rand for it. I sold 1,000 of them. My revenue is 1 Rand times 1,000, 1,000 Rand. Yes?
Yeah.
What do we call this? The ego measure. Ego. Yeah, I run a 100 million Rand a year business. Hey? People who make a lot of money up here are so easy to spot because they'll tell you. Hey, what did you say, Mac? It's 750 a year. Basically saying, Mang Puma na ning enjoy ning pega. Ning pega. Ngavuka namanje ngavuka. Nguye ngavele ngivuke nje. Yeah? It's like it's a cool ego measure. It's you advertise it to the world. Go to the world and you say, look at me. I make X. My man. Cool. And then every product you sell costs you something to make. Do we agree?
Yes.
It's called the cost of goods sold, which is the cost for the product times the quantity of product. So this pen, I sell it at 1 Rand each, but I buy it from my supplier at 50 cents. Make sense?
Yeah.
I sell it at 1, I buy it at 50. Which means my profit, what they call a gross profit or gross margin, say anything, is this minus this. That minus this. That's it. GP. 99% of most businesses are typically GP positive. Why? Because if you're not GP positive, you're not going to survive. If you're paying your suppliers more than it costs you to sell the product, you're going to die.